Okay, that's the verb. But if you say grasp as the other form, it means to understand. Okay, so
Okay.
his dyslexia made it more difficult for him to understand concepts at school. Okay, so you can
Grasp
grasp
is
your
like,
mind, it means to understand, or you can use the verb to grasp something. It's the same thing.
okay, is grasp is like grab.
Yeah, grasp and grab is basically the same, yeah, in the verb form. But if you say
All right.
grasp in this form, it means to understand.
Okay.
Okay, so if you grasp a concept, it means you understand a concept. Okay, and then inquisitive, like we said, is questioning or interested or asking more. Okay, just being like curious. Curious is a nice word as well. Curious.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then it says Branson has managed to make his business a great success, effectively proving wrong any stereotype.
Right.
You know
It's
what a
just a,
stereotype is?
yeah, I got it. I know that.
Right. So stereotype is basically what everyone else thinks of that one specific thing, right?
Yep.
So what do you call it? Common knowledge or common intellect. Okay. So he's
Okay.
basically proven that dyslexic people are not stupid, they're not unsuccessful, they can do a lot, right? Okay.
That's right.
Okay. So let's have a look. We have to read the paragraph above, which we've done, and match each bold word to its meaning. Okay, so the first word, what is the first word?
Understand.
Understand, all right? So can you find the bold of understand?
Okay. Grasp.
Yes, very good. It is grasp. Perfect. So if you grasp something, you understand it. Perfect. Okay,
Mhm.
next one, number 2 is
Curious is inquisitive.
curious. Inquisitive. Yes, very good. Inquisitive. Quite a hard word to spell. Inquisitive. Inquisitive.
Inquisitive. All right.
Okay, so it's a very nice word to use, right? It's a little bit higher English, so it's nice to say like I'm an inquisitive person. It means you're a curious person. Okay,
All
next
right.
one, number 3.
A reading disorder,
Hmm.
dyslexia.
Dyslexia, yeah, dyslexia.
Dyslexia. Dyslexia. Dyslexia.
Okay, dyslexia. All right, so it's very, very hard to read and to write with dyslexia. Okay, number 4.
An idea, person, or thing that is usually untrue or overly simplified.
Overly simplified. Yeah.
Overly.
Okay, so an idea of a person or
Stere-
thing that is usually untrue or overly simplified, that is a
Stereotype.
perfect stereotype. Okay, so there's a lot of different stereotypes. It's like saying an Irishman is always drunk, or
Mhm.
saying like a black man is always a criminal, or saying like, all kinds of stuff like that is like stereotypes. Okay, like an
Okay.
ex-convict is always guilty, stuff like that. So there's a lot of like common knowledges or something that's usually untrue, because I mean not all ex-convicts are criminals still, and you know what I mean, so it's different. All right, so that's called a stereotype. Okay, so let's have a look. Perfect. All right, so let's say these words. It is grasp,
Yeah. Grasp.
inquisitive,
Inquisitive.
dyslexia,
Dyslexia and stereotype.
stereotype. Perfect. Very good. All right. Now we're gonna move on to viewing. All right. So, do you like watching TED Talks, Juan?
TikTok. Not too much. I see a few. I'm not too much fan of TikToks.
Okay. So TED Talks, or like I'm talking about TED, TED Talk, not TikTok.
Oh, I was thinking TikTok,
Oh,
the app.
I
You
know. I
said
had a
the app.
previous student that yesterday as well. Thought about TikTok. I
Oh,
hate.
about TikTok. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
It's
TED
a good.
Talks are. Yeah.
TikTok
Continue.
is great. It's great. I like
Yeah.
it.
TED Talks are nice ways of learning English as well, because they speak nice and slow and pronunciate very well. And there's so many to choose from, so many different like categories. So I love watching TED Talks. So it's something that can help you also learn English. It's really, really interesting.
It's,
Okay, so
it's
we're gonna
great.
watch this TED Talk, all right? And then we're
Okay.
gonna have answer questions 1 to 3. Okay, so if you want to watch it
Okay.
again after the first time, we can. It's no problem.
Okay.
So we're going to put up some slides of some of your companies here. You started 1 or 2 in your time. So, you know, Virgin Atlantic, Virgin Records. I guess it all started with a magazine called Student, and then yes, all these other ones as well. I mean, how do you do this?
I read all these sort of TED instructions. You must not talk about your own business and this. And you asked me, so I suppose you're not going to be able to kick me off the stage as you asked the question. So,
it depends what the answer is.
No, I mean, I think I learned early on that if you can run one company, you can really run any companies. I mean, companies all about finding the right people and inspiring those people, drawing out the best in people. And I just love learning, and I'm incredibly inquisitive, and I love taking on the status quo and trying to turn it upside down. So I've seen life as one long learning process. And if I see, if I fly on somebody else's airline and find the experience is not a pleasant one, which it wasn't 21 years ago, then I think, well, maybe I can create the kind of airline that I'd like to fly on. And so got one sort of secondhand 747 from Boeing and gave it a go.
Wow.
I didn't hear very well the last part.
Sorry, so what's that?
Could you repeat the last part?
Okay, yeah. Okay, like let's go halfway.
Yeah, that's okay. In the middle.
Companies. I mean, companies all about finding the right people and inspiring those people, drawing out the best in people. And I just love learning, and I'm incredibly inquisitive, and I love taking on the status quo and trying to turn it upside down. So I've seen life as one long learning process. And if I see, if I fly on somebody else's airline and find the experience is not a pleasant one, which it wasn't 21 years ago, then I think, well, maybe I can create the kind of airline that I'd like to fly on. And so got one sort of secondhand 747 from Boeing and gave it a go.
Okay. All right. So first thing that I noticed in that interview is he says challenging the status quo. Do you know what that means?
No.
All right. So that is an English saying, right? It means challenging the norm, challenging what we know as the law or the rules. Okay.
All
so
right.
like the way things are right now and everybody thinks it's normal, it's challenging that. Okay. So it can be applied to many different things, right? So let's see. What is the official
Challenging.
Status quo. All right. So challenging the status quo. Okay. So it means basically providing alternative ideas for the way the company operates. But it's not just the company. It's everyday life. Okay. So it's anything that like is the rule right now. Anything that you think is normal now, it's challenging that and changing that and asking, but why do we flush the toilet that way? Why can't we flush it this way? Or why can't I study this way and not that way? So it's anything that like challenging anything in everyday life. Okay, so it means like challenge the status quo. So basically what he's saying is that he was looking at it and then thinking, but why can't I do it differently? Okay, so like, I don't know what airlines you use, but let's say American Airlines. Okay, they serve breakfast this way, they fly it this way, they fly this route, and then looking at that, and you're like, but why? Why can't we serve breakfast a little bit later and fly in that route? So it's challenging the status, like the way it's normally done. So that's what it means, challenging the status quo. It's a very, very, very nice thing to remember.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Is there any other questions about what he said that you'd like to ask?
He really speaks really fast. I didn't get it very well.
And he mumbles a little bit, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
It's a little bit hard to All right. Well, let's see. You can watch it again if you want to, but let's see. Number one.
Yeah, let me try
Okay.
the answer the question.
Let's say, according to Branson, what is the best way to run a company? What do you think?
Little C, hire the right people and inspire them to do well.
Exactly. Yeah. So he basically says you can find people that knows how to do it. And you expect, and I must say, when I met him as well as I was a very young chef, I had no idea what I was doing, and he kind of just has this aura of calm down, welcome, you're here, like you're here to do that, and then you're like, wow, I really want to do good for that guy, like, it's weird.
Yeah.
So you're like, like you feel very inspired. Okay, all right. So number two, what does Branson mean when he says
loves to
loves
turn
it.
the status quo upside down.
Huh.
All
So
right.
remember what we learned about that.
Yeah, I think is the similar with the changing the status quo.
Yeah. Yeah. So if he says he wants to turn it upside down, it means like he wants to change it, right? So what do you think?
Little B, he tries something completely new or does things in a different way.
Exactly. Yeah. So he looks at something and he's like, but I want to do it this way. And he changes it. It doesn't mean he disrupts the world, it disrupts the way things are, but he brings a new way of thinking to it. Okay. Very, very good. Okay. Number three, how does
Branson get ideas for new companies?
Mhm.
Little C, by constantly thinking about how he could improve things.
Exactly. Very good. So yeah, he's constantly checking and constantly thinking, but I can do that differently, or I can change that. Very good. 100%. So do you agree with that? Do you feel the same? Do you think that you constantly evaluate things?
I think he has a different way to view the
world,
companies, to view the world. Yeah, that's true.
Do you use any Virgin products or no?
No. Here in my country, there is not product from Virgin companies.
All right. Well, I used to go to Virgin Active, which is like the gym, the fitness gym. But yeah, after lockdown and things, I'm not going anymore. So I got a bit fat, but that's about the only thing I. But it was quite interesting. It was quite nice to see. And I think I flew Virgin once, but it was very, very expensive. All right. Okay, so let's look at part 2 of the TED Talk. So which diagram illustrates the analogy Branson describes? Okay, so what is an analogy? You know what that means? Analogy?
Yeah. I know. It's like compare things.
Yeah, a figure of speech comparing things. Yeah, exactly. Very good. Okay, so let's have a look at this video and see what does he say? What is his analogy?
Weren't you just terrible at school?
I was dyslexic. I had no understanding of schoolwork whatsoever, and I certainly would have failed IQ tests. And it's one of the reasons I left school when I was 15 years old. And if I'm not interested in something, I don't grasp it. As somebody who's dyslexic, you also have some quite bizarre situations. I mean, for instance, and I've had to, I've been running the largest group of private companies in Europe, but haven't been able to know the difference between net and gross. And so the board meetings have been fascinating. And so, is that good news or bad news? And generally people would say, oh, well, that's bad news.
but just to clarify, the $25 billion is gross, right? That's gross.
Well, I hope it's net, actually, having fun. I got it right.
No, trust me, it's gross.
No, when I so So when I turned 50, somebody took me out of the outside the boardroom and said, "Look, Richard, just here's a let me draw on a diagram. Here's a net in the sea, and the fish have been pulled from the sea into this net, and that's the profits you've got left over in this little net, and everything else is I found out, finally worked it all out." So,
All right. Well, I mean, I'm not into finance, so I don't even understand the net and the gross. But let's see. Can you understand which one is correct according to what he's said?
Oh, I didn't get it very well. He, as you said, he mumbled when he talked a lot.
You want to
So
watch it again, or?
Yes, please.
All right, we can watch it again. That's no problem. Okay.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
he does mumble a little bit, and he speaks very fast, right? And he's
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's open it.
Weren't you just terrible at school?
I was dyslexic. I had no understanding of schoolwork whatsoever, and I certainly would have failed IQ tests. And it's one of the reasons I left school when I was 15 years old. And if I'm not interested in something, I don't grasp it. As somebody who's dyslexic, you also have some quite bizarre situations. I mean, for instance, and I've had to, I've been running the largest group of private companies in Europe, but haven't been able to know the difference between net and gross. And so the board meetings have been fascinating. And so, is that good news or bad news? And generally people would say, oh, well, that's bad news.
But just to clarify, the $25 billion is gross, right? That's gross.
Well, I hope it's net, actually, having I've got it right.
No, trust me, it's gross.
No, so when I turned 50, somebody took me out of outside the boardroom and said, "Look, Richard, just here's let me draw on a diagram. Here's a net in the sea, and the fish have been pulled from the sea into this net, and that's the profits you've got left over in this little net, and everything else is I found out, finally worked it all out." So,
Yeah, so it's a little bit hard to hear what he says.
Okay.
But what he's basically saying is that, like, your net is your profit, okay? So whatever fish you got together, like the ones in your net, that would be your profit.
All right. Yeah, he mentioned that. I think it's that's right.
Yeah. So what work do you do, Son?
What I do?
Yeah.
I am an industrial engineer. I am working in a company, in a factory here, who produce products, Peruvian products like quinoa, maca.
I love it.
We export that products abroad. I think the most important client is from USA, and we import products from US for this company, for one company in USA. I am exactly in administration, and I am a manager on administration.
Okay, that's very cool. I love quinoa. I don't know. Do you like eating quinoa or not so much?
Yeah, I like it. I like quinoa. I like maca. That is a good product. Also very with a lot of proteins.
Yeah, proteins. Yeah.
Protein. That's right. Protein.
Okay, very good. All right, it's very healthy. All right, so check. Let's see. You nailed it. Yeah. Okay, so I'm not good at math. So I'm guessing you are, because you're an engineer, obviously. Yeah. So like even I didn't understand net and gross profit, and this is quite a nice way of remembering it. That's quite nice.
That's a great idea.
And what do you think about his gross profit that he says it's $28 billion?
It's amazing. It's amazing.
It's not bad, right?
Yeah, and it's not so bad. Everyone wanted like that.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't mind. All right, so we're gonna go to part 3. All right,
All right.
and I'm gonna have to choose the statements that best describe Richard Branson's business philosophy.
Philosophy. All right.
And you know what philosophy means, Jim?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I know.
That's like his vision, right? That's like what he
That's
works
right.
towards. All right, very good. All right, so let's have a look. What does he say? What is his philosophy?
So yeah, seriously, is there a dark side? I mean, a lot of people would say there's no way that someone could put together this incredible collection of businesses without knifing a few people in the back, doing some ugly things. You've been accused of being ruthless. There was a nasty biography written about you by someone. Is any of it true? Is there an element of truth in it?
I don't actually think that the stereotype of a business person treading all over people to get to the top, generally speaking, works. I think if you treat people well, people will come back and come back for more. And I think all you have in life is your reputation, and it's a very small world. And I actually think that the best way of becoming a successful business leader is dealing with people, fairly and well, and like to think that's how we run Virgin.
Okay, that's interesting.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see. You want to read the first sentence? What does it say? It says,
Okay. It's important to build friendly relationship with other companies.
mhm.
Okay. Maintaining a good reputation is essential.
Mhm.
You should keep track of your competitors' actions.
Mhm.
Treat people well and in a fair way.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to be ruthless in business to succeed.
So which one do you think is more correct?
Treat people well and in a fair way.
I think so too. Yeah. Okay.
And
So
also maintaining a good reputation is essential.
okay. And what else?
Um,
Or you think that's it?
I think that's it.
Okay. Okay. So before we check our answers, do you agree with that? Do you think that's the best way to do business?
Yeah, it's important to treat well people, but I think not only for your company. I think it's something that you have to do in your life. You have to
Yeah.
be a good person, treat people well
Yeah.
every time. No, it's something that we have to do.
Okay, so
It's essential.
So do you think that you're a good person and you treat people well and fair all the time?
I'm trying to do that. I don't know if I do it well all the time, but
You try.
finally I try all the time.
Okay, well, hey, trying is good enough, huh? I mean, that's better than nothing, right? So let's have a look. Check our answers. What have we got? Oh, you nailed it. Very good. All right. So, but I'm not sure if I believe that though. I mean, he's one of the biggest, most successful business owners and company executives in the world.
Yeah,
Do you really think that he did all that by being nice and friendly all the time?
I think it's really hard to believe because when you are a leader of a company, sometimes you have to be a hard. You have to be ruthless
You have to be ruthless.
because
You can't make
yeah,
everyone happy all the time.
it's needed. Sometimes it's needed. Sometimes
Yeah. I agree with you. That's very wise. You're a wise man.
it's necessary.
All right, so let's have a look. It says critical thinking. Okay, so number D. Can you read this? What does it say? It says,
Okay, evaluating work with a partner. Which of Richard Branson's business principles do you think is the most surprising? Why?
mhm. Okay, so which one do you think? It says here, it's surprising that Branson's number 1 rule is to have fun. I always thought of CEOs as serious people. Okay,
Yeah.
so which one do you think? Which one is most surprising to you? Surprised at all?
About their business or about him?
Well, both.
Well,
Anyone you think of,
okay,
but like
about him, how he could do all these things, create all these companies
Mhm.
with his even when
Dyslexia.
he has the dyslexia. Yeah, this is surprising to me because it's not easy to understand things when you have that dyslexia.
Yeah, I
So
fully,
for me, that is surprising.
I fully agree. I've never even known that he has that. So that is very, very respectable. I don't know how he does that. That is
Yeah,
amazing. And like I said, like he's the way he is in that video, that's the way he is. He's very laid back. He's laughing all the time. And like you're like, how do you do it? You own like 60 companies. How are you not stressed and crazy?
yeah.
And he's just
He
like,
looks like a relaxed person, right?
yeah. He wears flip-flops, he walks around, he's like normal guy. And I'm like, how the hell do you do that? Like I would be myself to death. Like it's crazy.
Okay.
Okay, so let's have a look at the vocabulary in context. All right. So we're gonna watch excerpts. You know what excerpts means?
No. What is excerpts?
Excerpts means parts. Okay, so we're gonna watch parts of the whole interview, right? So it's just a fancy word of saying like pieces or parts of the whole thing. All right, and then we're gonna choose the correct meaning of the words. Okay, so let's have a look. The words are
Okay.
work all out, give it a go, take on, draw out, and knifing people in the back. Okay, so we have to see like what are the correct
Knifing.
knifing, yeah,
Okay.
knifing people in the back. All right, so let's have a look. What does he say?
I mean, companies all about finding the right people and inspiring those people, drawing out the best in people.
All right, so inspiring those people. Okay, so which one do you think?
Inspiring those people, drawing out the best in people.
Okay, so what does drawing out mean?
Drawing out the best in someone you. I think it's persuade or encourage them to perform very well.
Exactly. Yeah. So persuade or encourage them to perform very well. Perfect. Yeah. So that is basically. So it's not forcing them, but it's like finding what inspires them and then making them believe in it. That's very good, and that's what he does. Like I said, very well. He finds what kind of like lights your fire, and he's like, listen, do this for me and light your fire, and then we work towards a goal. And you're like, yeah. I mean, have you ever watched Braveheart? Braveheart, the movie?
Braveheart?
Yeah, with Mel Gibson.
With Mel Gibson, yeah.
And then he has that speech with the sword, and he's like, freedom, and then he was, yeah, it's like that.
Yeah.
Like everyone is like excited and motivated because they're fighting for their freedom, even though they're running into a battle. So that's basically what he does too, Okay, let's have a look at number 2. Yep, number C, correct.
And I just love learning, and I'm incredibly inquisitive, and I love taking on the status quo and trying to turn it upside down. So I've seen life as one long learning process.
Okay, so what does take on
the status quo and lost taking on? What does taking on mean? Deal with or start a competition?
Yes, very good. Right? If you take on something, it means you're accepting the challenge. Right? It's like accepting the challenge. So you deal with or start a competition. Very, very good. So you're taking on the challenge or taking on the competition.
And if I see, if I fly on somebody else's airline and find the experience is not a pleasant one, which it wasn't 21 years ago, then I think, well, maybe I can create the kind of airline that I'd like to fly on, and so got one sort of secondhand 747 from Boeing and gave it a go.
Okay, so give something a go. What do you think that means?
you give something a go, you if you give and you know, so got a second hand 7% per wine and gave it a go. They let it go.
Okay, so let's think about this, right? So he said
Yeah,
that he was on a flight, like, and he didn't like it, right? So he wanted to like try it himself. So he said he got a second-hand Boeing from 747 from Boeing, right? So a second-hand airplane, and he gave it a go. So what do you think that means?
allow someone to live it, to live with, live it, like
No,
live it,
like he's trying it. So it's A. It says
try to do it.
try to
Alright.
do it himself. Yeah. So he got a second-hand airplane, and he's like, let's give it a go. You know, what's the worst that can happen? So like he
Okay.
tried it himself.
Try to do something. All right, try to
Yeah.
do.
So he attempted. So if you give it a go, you say like, if your wife says, babe, why haven't you done the dishes yet? And you're like, okay, I'll give it a go. It means you're gonna go try and do it, right? Well, I mean, you have to do it then, obviously, otherwise,
Okay.
she's but but yeah. So try to
Try
do it.
to do it. All right.
Exactly. Yeah, try to do it. So he tried to give it a go himself. Yeah, try to do it.
Give it a go. Okay.
So when I turned 50, somebody took me out of outside the boardroom and said, "Look, Richard, just look, here's let me draw on a diagram. Here's a net in the sea, and the fish have been pulled from the sea into this net, and that's the profits you've got left over in this little net, and everything else is I found out, finally worked it all out." So,
I finally worked it out. Oh,
What does work it all out mean? Work it all out.
make something function correctly.
No, not quite. Almost.
No,
No.
what does work it out mean? Solve a problem or understand something.
Yes, very good. So if you say I worked it all out, it means like I figured it out. I understand it now. All right.
Okay.
So it means like, I know the answer. Okay. So it's A, solve a problem or understand something. It means to figure it out. Yeah, solve a problem or understand something. If you work it all out.
I mean, a lot of people would say there's no way that someone could put together this incredible collection of businesses without knifing a few people in the back, doing some ugly things.
Okay, so if you knife someone in the back, what does that mean?
Oh, be traitor? Do you be a traitor?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it doesn't literally mean you stab someone in the back and commit murder. It means you betray them. Yeah, very good. So it says do something in secret to harm them.
Harm them. Financial. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do
so
do something secret to harm them.
Yeah, exactly. And it needs to be in secret because it means like it's not common knowledge. It's like telling him one thing, but you're doing a whole nother thing. It's like you're lying, you're deceiving them. You got
what is the meaning of harm? Harm them. It's like injure.
Harm means to hurt. If you harm someone, it means you're hurting someone.
All right.
Okay, so it means like to do something in secret. So obviously nobody knows. It's like you're betraying them and you're lying. And then harm means you're hurting them. So you're doing something in secret that will hurt the person, and you know it, but you don't care. You're like doing it, and then you're betraying them. Okay, and if you harm someone or harm something, it means you're hurting it or destroying it or something like that. Okay, so you can harm yourself too if you like drink too much vodka or something. Like your wife was like, babe, you're harming your liver, please stop it, because you're hurting your liver, right? So you're drinking too much. Hopefully you don't do that.
Harm. Okay.
Harm.
No, I don't do that.
All right, so that is that for this part. So let's quickly stop that. All right, so we have create leaders are able to people saying, so let's say draw out. Okay, disagreement
So-
with our business partners or unable
Readers are able to draw people's
discussion
disagreement with your business partner are happen you should have discussion, work it out.
Work
Okay.
Mhm.
You
Okay,
should
and
have to
years.
be willing to take it on challenge
Exactly, very good. Take on challenges, yeah.
challenges. Yeah, she might be able to achieve success but some people won't want to work with you.
Mhm. You may be able to achieve success by, but some people won't be able to. It means
Knifing people in the back.
exactly, yeah, knife. I mean, if you get a reputation for lying to people and for like harming them by deceit, obviously people won't work with you anymore, right?
Mhm.
They'll be like, no, like I heard what you done.
You should be afraid to give it a go.
Give it a go. Perfect. Give it a go. All right, let's have a look. Yeah, very, very good. Perfect. Okay, so draw out, work it all out, take on,
Okay.
knifing people in the back, and give it a go.
Okay,
All
give it a
right.
go. Right.
Okay, so this is about time. So do you have any questions? Anything you'd like to ask or anything I can explain?
No, I think was okay. I think it was so clear. I'm okay.
Okay, very good. There's quite a lot. There's two more. So I'm gonna say that we stopped at the number A. Okay.
Okay.
And then I'll see you. I'll see you again next time. Have a very good day. What would you have for breakfast today?
I don't know. Maybe a scrambled eggs with milk.
Scrambled eggs, is delicious, and bacon. Right? You have to have
Yeah.
bacon. Bacon is the
I
best.
hope so. Let me try. Let me find something in the fridge.
Have a very, very good day. All right. I'll see you next time.
Thank you. Thank you. See ya.
You're welcome. See you next time. Bye.